The action with the Junior Prokart battle, and it's going to be Isaac Duff and Finlay Marshall on the front row of the grid from Oliver Hall and Max Mannion, Ian Bagar and Isaac Hobbs from Ollie Clegg, and Daniel Karazinski from Charlie Brooks and Chase Sharp, rounding out a very competitive top 10. Again, it'll be tough to know who's going to get the best of that. 11th on the grid for Harrison Johns ahead of Max Hausago, and then Freddie Hausago from Kian Richard, Riley Matthews and Ashley Harzay stepping up into the world of Junior Prokart. Ready and let's boogie! Up to the first corner. Should be a very tight start. And Finlay Marshall just trying to hold on here in front of Isaac Duff. They bang wheels. They get that close through Cafe. They just about stay away from Harms Manor. And they go through up towards Station Hairpin. But you can tell already that Marshall versus Duff is going to be a grudge match for the ages. They mean business as they go through the hairpin for the first time. They're still side by side, but they just about settle it in. And the young man from Merton is the man who has to follow in second position behind Isaac Duff.
Yeah, the timing updates on the left of the screen as they go through the line. That's where they were when they went through the line. Isaac Duff in second place, but he's not in second place now. He's leading it as they come through Hanger into Wilkins for the first time.
This is very tough, just behind the top six. A lovely choice move there from Ollie Clegg, getting the run through the hairpin, and that certainly tidies things up very nicely from his point of view. Mannion following Duff and Marshall. Ashley Harzay up 7 places already. So Duff from Marshall, Mannion in third position on the UK plate, and Isaac Hobbs, Oliver Hall, Ollie Clegg, Ian Bagar and Daniel Karazinski. Going to be a couple of moves again into the hairpin by the look of it. Is Ashley Harzay picking up another place? He's certainly trying his best to, as the young man from Reading, Ian Bagar, still trying to work his way further forward. Isaac Hobbs is threatening Mannion. He's looking pretty racy in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. So there's going to be several drivers here gunning for it.
Oliver Hall's one of them, the man from Colville in Leicestershire. Hall there in 5th place currently, but looking for something more.
And the more that Mannion and Hobbs duke it out, the more of a chance he's going to have to catch up to them. So we haven't quite got the same defensive masterclass that we saw from Aaron Alexander earlier on, but certainly Duff is trying his best to get away. He bangs in a 49.19. That's the new fastest lap of the race, and it certainly gives him the tiniest bit of daylight over Finlay Marshall. He's got a lead of 0.4 of a second at the line. You may think that doesn't sound like a lot, but in terms of the momentum in karting, 0.4 of a second is really all you need.
Yeah, and you can see 0.4 of a second, it's around about 5 or 6 kart lengths.
Harzay's just got past Ian Bagar. He's now up into 6th position. Harzay is tearing through this field like a pair of scissors through wet newspaper.
He started at the back of the field, Jake, as well, so this is a great performance. Fantastic.
Well, really good work from Ashley Harzay, not to be confused with the karting chassis, the Hazer chassis, which of course is run and manufactured by Jorn Hazer. But going to be fascinated to see what more progress Ashley Harzay can make. Look at that, fastest lap of the race. He's just done a 49.0. That's with an overtake. Can we just point that out? That's while he's done an overtake in the station hairpin.
Yeah, now where's he going to end up? He's there in 6th place. We can see him from the drone. The drone gives you such a good overall view of who's where, doesn't it? So there he is, sort of pinky red helmet. See him coming through now. There he is on the 17.
He's one of the shorter members.
Close enough, isn't he?
Yeah, do you know what? He's one of the shortest members of the grid, although Chase Sharp would probably win that one. But looking at the battle, he's just made up so much ground on Oliver Hall. He's going to slingshot him to the inside line. I mean, that looked like child's play, to be fair.
Yeah, he's making up places like you wouldn't believe. This is a fantastic drive, and he's certainly got the 3 in front of him. He's going to tick them off his list, you would think. Can he get the lead, though? The lead a little bit too far away, maybe. 1.2 seconds clear.
But see, this is what happens when you are angry, having to start from the back of the grid. You drive with the red mist and you think, right, enough of this, I've just got to charge in and see what happens. Drivers get really motivated when you know you should be starting towards the top 5. You're going from the back and you suddenly have that completely, win or bust attitude. You've got, right, there's nothing I can do except go forward, and you just give yourself that little bit of extra impetus. You are totally determined, dedicated, focused, committed. You may as well just give it everything you've got, and that's what Harzay's doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've not seen what's happened in the heats to put him at the back of the grid for this final, but clearly he's had problems in the heats. But we know if he hadn't had those problems, you'd think at this pace, and he's right on the back of the 3 in front of him now, at this sort of pace that he's showing here, he should be out front with Isaac Duff.
Right, this is critical as well, because Mannion is trying to take on Marshall. At the same time, Harzay's just going to slide in and go for it. Nearly got 2 of them. Goodness me, he almost got Manion in the same breath.
Nearly collected it, to be fair. That would have been a bit embarrassing if it had collected Manion on the way through. Manion, of course, is the UK plate holder. He won that UK plate back in February when we were at Wilton Mill.
Well, I'm sorry to say we've had one retirement. It's Daniel Karazinski, who started up in the top 10, so unfortunately he's not able to make it through to the end of the race, which is unfortunate considering his performance through the weekend. Hopefully we'll get to see him and a much better run of it. See, this is what happens when Isaac Duff is now settled into the rhythm. He's just taking about 0.2 of a second or so out of each lap that he does over Finley Marshall. And the problem is Marshall's having to think tactically about Manion. He's not going to be thinking about Manion for too much longer, because here comes Haase. He's through in a third position. He's literally picking them off one by one per lap. Further back, we've got the 10th place battle. Harrison Johns. Oh, up the inside, that's going to be Matthews and Housego having a go at Chase Sharp. And they come off the turn. Oh, that's a really unfortunate moment for Chase Sharp. He loses 2 in 1 as he charges again forward, back to the battle for second. But no way! That one came over so far back. Haase just decided, right, enough of this. I've only got 6 minutes to go after Isaac Duff. I've got to get on with it now.
Now he's got 6 minutes. I think that could be enough, Jake. That could be enough with the pace he's got. Can he catch the leader? That's a big gap though, isn't it?
2.2 seconds, it's a lot. I mean, he's managed
16th to second in under 6 minutes. Incredible.
He's definitely got the pace to get past everybody else. Oh, Manion had a try. He went for it on Finley Marshall, and unfortunately he just caught the inside curb. He avoided contact with Marshall by the look of it, but just putting that right front wheel onto the curb and it pitched the kart around. Very unfortunate. You've got to give these things a go. You're a racing driver. If you don't go for the gap that exists, you're not a racing driver. That's what Ayrton Senna always used to say. But unfortunately, just that little bit of a kiss of the curb, and that's it, a pirouette.
Yeah, he's probably perhaps trying to... I was looking away when that happened, to be fair. He might have been trying to stop himself hitting the driver in front. So
yeah, he was being quite sporting actually, because he could easily have chucked that in, nudged Marshall aside to keep the kart fluid, but that's not his style at all. He's a much cleaner driver than that. So
great battles all the way through the field, Jake, aren't there?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Chase Sharp has now got himself to the front of that 10th place queue, ahead of Freddie Housego, ahead of Riley Matthews, and ahead of Harrison Johns. So some good battles everywhere you look, as you say. We've got another pretty tight one between Oliver Hall and Ian Bagar, who are trying to get themselves a little bit closer to Isaac Hobbs. They're tightening up. Now there is Riley Matthews with Johns and Max Housego. And now we've got wheel to wheel. This is Chase Sharp, desperately trying to throw Freddie Housego off his tail. Now what's the gap between Duff and Haase? Well, it's now 2.9, so that would suggest really that Haase has got to the limit of what he can do, but still 16th to second in under 6 minutes. I'd take that any day.
Yeah, it might be that he's used his tyres up, used the best of his tyres, and he's certainly not quicker, is he? You can see on that lap now, if the driver's set their fastest lap in the race, he will highlight there on the left of the screen in blue. In purple, it will give the driver that set the fastest lap. That was Haase earlier on, but he's now slower than he was.
Ollie Clegg doing his Peter Solberg impression down at the Stratford hairpin. He's with power sliding on the brakes. You've got to be so committed in these things. These Pro Karts are fabulous little machines, and they give you so much pleasure behind the wheel. I haven't done a lot of driving in many karts, but I will say I've done a fair couple of days in Pro Karts, and they just give you so much joy, so much pleasure. You can really throw them around. You can chuck them about almost like a rental, but it gives you that little bit of an extra kick when you get off the throttle out of a slow bend, and you get so much exertion, so much energy running through your spine.
Yeah, and you talked about rental karts there, Jake. For those watching that perhaps haven't raced karts, these are the sort of karts that you might race on a rental track on steroids. So
yes.
they've been tuned. Generally RPM does all the tuning in the UK, does a fantastic job, Roger Pitchford, tuning the karts and tuning the Honda engines. So they're a bit like rental karts on steroids.
And of course with these karts you get 2 of them, 1 on each side, so you get that little bit of an extra kick to it as well. Isaac Duff, 3.1 now ahead of Ashley Haase. I think that's pretty much banked as long as he just keeps it going at the pace he's on. 48.9s for both of them though. They are considerably quicker than everybody else Even Finley Marshall has had to concede that now he's just got to keep the pressure off from Oliver Hall and Isaac Hobbs. There is your leader, Isaac Duff, ever since he got... Oh, goodness me. I was going to say ever since he got into the lead, he's had it plain sailing. He very nearly sailed away then. That was 2 wheels in the deck and 2 wheels in the air as he hopped over the curb on the exit of the Bruno Ferrari chicane. But he's in the zone. He's absolutely loving life in the lead of this race. He comes over the start-finish straight once again, charges through the left up towards Cafe. A 49.2 for him there. Well, that little bump through the Bruno Ferrari chicane definitely cost him 0.3 of a second on that lap. Ashley Haase closes into within 2.7. That just shows you, even though you're in the lead, even though you've got a big advantage, you've still got to be careful that you don't throw it away. That was a big moment in the Bruno Ferrari chicane, and Duff was lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, 2 drivers set their fastest laps on that lap. Isaac Hobbs in 5th, and I am Bagar, you're saying, Jake, or is it Bagger? It's, well, either way.
Answers on a postcard.
Yeah, you can let us know next time.
Yes,
Caesars, how we pronounce it.
Absolutely.
This is the battle for 4th.
Yeah, it's answers on a postcard. Send it to that foolish commentator that can't say anything properly, Chester. Anyway, they're great battles here. Hobbs has got Oliver Hall running scared through the hairpin at Wilkins. He really has to he's got to push on a pace now. Finley Marshall's finally checked out in 3rd position. So Hall, Hobbs and Bagger right there in position. Let's see if Isaac Hobbs is going to get his run. The battle for 12th is pretty intense now as well. You've got Harrison Johns trying to make his move on the very defensive Riley Matthews. Max Hausago is there for a little bit of cover as well. Back to the P4 battle. Hall, Hobbs, Bagger. Oh, a nice move there from Ian. He managed to get a big mistake from Isaac Hobbs, totally to his advantage. Managed to sweep in on the inside line and take it away.
Yeah. Hobbs definitely made a mistake there, running well wide and gave up the inside line. This is the leader, race leader, well clear as they come through Wilkins.
Did you see that under brakes? You've literally got 3 on the deck and the rear right in the air. You've got so much physicality. When you hit the brake pedal, this battle continues. Oh, and it's got too close for comfort. Riley Matthews and Harrison Johns. They tangle in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Looks as though Harrison Johns has got going again as the leader, Isaac Duff, goes through. Now, that I didn't
destroyed
see.
The tyres, Jake.
Yeah, look at that.
That's going to be a red flag.
I think it is, yeah. You can't keep racing when the tyres are in that much of a disarray, which is ironic because the timer has just ticked down to 0 anyway. So, yeah, I have a feeling...
They would have got the last lap board when they went through the line. It's 12 minutes plus a lap.
It is indeed, but we're on the penultimate lap now,
yeah, you
so...
can see yellow flags
yeah,
there,
they've got to stop it.
Red flag. Watch the marshal post there showing a red flag. They're going to stop it, and they'll call that race now.
Yeah, you won't restart that because there was only meant to be 1 lap to go anyway. But, yeah, with the tyre barrier dislodged the way it is, it's not safe to carry on racing. Let's look at it again. Bang! It's just one wheel tags another, and there's absolutely nothing that either driver can do at that point. How fortunate for the drivers behind, almost clipping the drivers as they went through. So there is a very unhappy Riley Matthews, but fortunately he looks to be perfectly okay, just a little bit shaken. But yeah, as you can see, the tyre barrier completely destroyed out of its original position, so there's no way you could have carried on the race.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the tyres. They're very, very heavy tyres, and they're all over the place. Look at that. That is incredible.
Well, fortunately, they're going to have time to get the tyre barrier reset before the next final that we've got coming up, but that's one way for the race to finish. At least we're not talking about a driver in an ambulance. So Isaac Duff gets the victory in front of the brilliant Ashley Haase from the back to 2nd. Finley Marshall in P3 in front of Oliver Hall, with Isaac Hobbs and Ian Baggar right in behind. Max Mannion P7, Ollie Clegg in 8th position in front of Charlie Brooks, and the ever-impressive Chase Sharp fighting his way through in supremacy.
In the championship points, it's Isaac Duff that leads the way from Finley Marshall, Oliver Hall, Max Mannion, Hobbs, Bagger, Clegg, Haase, Brooks and Hausago, all in the top 10.